Good morning, everyone. This is Virgil Leonardo, your local church organist. This is episode 9 of the Volume 2, 2026. First things first. Sorry, I have been taking a long time getting to doing another video. I was going to do this last week. Last week was May 3rd. Actually, last week it was May 2nd. May 3rd was on Sunday. I threw my back out doing yard work last week, and it was all I could do to even just sit on the organ bench for 2 seconds. The pain was excruciating. What's worse than that was the next day was Sunday, and I had to sit at the organ with a bad back for a whole service for an hour, and by the end of the hour, I was pretty much fit to be tied. And also last Sunday was my birthday, so at church they always do this special thing where you come up to the altar and everybody says a little prayer for your birthday. Well, the priest, Reverend Lynn, she said, "No, just stay there. I know you're hurt." And she came down from the altar to the organ and prayed with me right there. So yeah. It's still out, but it's a lot better than it was. I'm at least able to sit at the organ for some time. Second thing, remember the last time we talked about Ruby and getting the surround sound system and all of that set up, and I was still waiting for that third reverb unit. It never came. I got in touch with the seller. I did get my money back, so I went ahead and ordered another one, and it just came yesterday. So, if you take a look down here, let me go ahead and release this. Down here, you'll see these are the two that I ordered before, and this is the third one. What you see there wobbling back and forth actually isn't wobbling back and forth. It's the speed with the camera. So what you're seeing is a difference in speed. It's not really doing that. So that third one, if you notice, it's a little bit different. I think it's a little higher end. It was a little more expensive than the other two, and it didn't come from China. It came from Miami, so it got here a lot faster. But it's electronically, it's pretty much identical. It's got the same features and everything as the other two. So that allows me. The problem I was having was, when I was to these two, I put the bass and pedals on one, and I had to put the choir and the swell on the same unit, which gave me only one speaker for each channel. So now I have everything connected. So the mains, which we've already talked about, subwoofer, the front 2 column speakers, the center speaker, and the back 2 speakers, which are the swell. And then what I did was I reversed that for the echo to give you more of when a source of sound comes from this side, all right, and it goes this way, it's going to bounce back this way. All right, so I put the echo opposite the wall of the actual main on both the choir, the swell. And the only one that's not like that is the grate pedal, because the grate is that box right there, and then the pedal for the echo is up there. I may fix that. I don't know. It's not that important, but I've got the full surround sound, which is really great. So this is sounding great. So, what to do today? I've got some music prepared, and what we're going to talk about a little bit is music theory. And I hope I don't lose anybody right now from that word. I know it's sounds like I'm going to go to school now, but it ties into what I'm playing today. What I was looking for was songs that don't follow the norm of traditional chord progression. Okay, now bear with me. When I say traditional chord progression, I'm talking about what you've heard over the years. You have a 1 chord. Let's do something better. 1 chord, And where is that going to go? It can go to 5, 1 to 5. Okay, that's pretty much the most basic. The tonic dominant. And then you have 1, 4, 5. Alright, or, and then later on you got things like, they got a little more elaborate, and you have things like this. Okay, so over the centuries in music development, from the early Renaissance to what we have today, there has been eons of progression in theories. It got to a point right around the end of the 1800s into the turn of the century of the 1900s, the turn of the 20th century, where composers started saying things like, have we done everything we could possibly do as far as progression is concerned? So then what they did was they tried to put all of that aside and come up with something completely new. Now, I'm kind of against that, and I'll explain that in a minute. You have other composers, other forms that were created, the octatonic scale, the 12-tone or serial music. You've got people like Stravinsky composers, Abbott. Let's see, another one would be John Cage. Of course, he took it to the extreme. To him, it was like, okay, let's not do this part, but let's see what else we can do on the organ and make it musical. There, that's music. Okay, that was his philosophy, that music can come from anything, anywhere, at any time, in any way. All right. You had people like Charles Ives, who his philosophy was, if you're going to make good sounding money making music, okay, then you're missing the point, is that you have to do from your heart, not from your head. All right, and then he would do things like this. Okay, and then he would come back into tonal and then come out of tonal and then into tonal. So that was his philosophy of composing. Him and Gustav Holst were contemporaries. There is, from what I heard in my studies, that the two of them would analyze each other's music, and anything that sounded like 5, 1, they would say, no, let's fix that, let's make it different. All right, now, I have a bachelor's degree in music, okay? I never went to graduate school. I had thought about it at some time, and during that time, I was thinking, what would I do for my thesis? And I came up with the idea that would probably be it, that we have all of these centuries of development from the very basic plain song or Gregorian chant to what we have today, jazz, rock, classical, contemporary music, atonal against tonal, pandiatonic. Okay, all of those, to me, are like ingredients for a gourmet dish. That if we take too much of this, or not enough of that, it's either going to be too bland, too spicy, too hard, or just stink altogether. Or it might just sound too, one of my professors would say, predictable. That you can almost tell where it's going to go. And we want to try to shy away from that. Okay, so take that into account. I found some music, and I was going through it looking for this particular thing. But these are pieces or musical works that they're not non-traditional, but they're also not traditional. Okay, they're going to lean a little bit. They're going to sound diatonic at one point, and then all of a sudden they're not going to sound diatonic. They're going to sound pandiatonic. They're going to sound secondary dominant. It's so. And when I say these terms, I'm saying them under the pretense that you probably know what I'm talking about. So, in case you don't, when I talk about tonic in the key of C, all right, there's your 1 chord. A 5 of 1 is G. Okay, that's your dominant. Then the subdominant is the F, which is your 4 chord. and then back to 1. Alright, so if I go to the 5, and I want to use a secondary dominant, I'm going to go to the 5's 5 if it were a 1. So from here to here to here. And then the secondary or thirdary dominant, and the fourth, so you're using the circle of fifths now, okay? So you have dominant, tonic, dominant, subdominant, tonic. Now I can go to 3, the minor 3, raise it, it becomes the 506. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about secondary. Now, some of these songs are really mysterious. They're not going to sound like they have any kind of a center, but then all of a sudden, boom, they're going to be in a center. Okay, so let's go ahead and play through these pieces. One of them, actually, 2 of them are from César Franck, who is a French composer back in the late 1800s. And one of his pieces, to me, it sounds like it could be actually used as a soundtrack for a spooky or scary movie, that like a ghost story or something like that. So you'll see what I'm talking about now. So let's go ahead and start out with first one that I found. Louis Verne, same time period, turn of the century, composer, leaning kind of in the traditional progression of chords, but also leaning away from it. Okay, so we're going to play this meditation composed by him. Let's see, we're on this one and we're on this one. All right, so here we go. Meditation by Louis Verne. in and out of tonality. Well, it's all tonal, but I guess in and out of that standard, or not standard, but traditional progressions to something that sounds like, I'd say it'll sound like a dream. Now, here's another one from Louis Vernon. Same composer. This one is in 12/8 time. There's a lot of bass in this and more rhythmic patterns. This is the preamble. That for an interesting ending. That used the 1 and the 5 in the bass. So, let's move on. Now, in this book, we have Lonnie Smith, Oh Lord, Our Refuge. what I like about this is it's got that. It's more. It sounds more emotion than academics. Um, see what you think. It's got some really nice dramatic moves in this. Again, on the edge of traditional to non-traditional without actually jumping over that leap. This is "Oh Lord, Our Refuge" by Lonnie Smith. Okay, so the next one, now we're going to get into some César Franck. He is one of those composers that, again, lived right on the edge. You know, here's traditional, here's non-traditional, close to here without actually leaving it. The first one is called The Prayer. The second one is called Arioso. Now, the Arioso, when I play this, it's kind of going to sound spooky, I think. It kind of sounds like it should be in a scary movie or something. That's what I think. The first one, the prayer, is just really soft, quiet, like all meditation. I think one of my oscillators might be a little bit out of tune. All right, so that's our phone. Now I want to play one more piece. Now this one leans a little more towards traditional and a little less towards non-traditional. I don't know if you know anything about Gabriel Fauré. He wrote a requiem that is it is awesome. I mean, it is totally hypnotic. I played, that one's arranged for choir, and I have times in the past where I sang some of his works from that requiem. This one is called Pavane. Pavan. Let me know in the comments which way you should say it. Pavane sounds like Pavane to me. You say tomato, I say tomato. I don't know. Anyway, so this is a simplified version arranged by David Paxton. And it's a little bit easier, but it's still the thought is there. Again, a little less of the traditional chord progressions, but not so much towards the non-traditional as the other pieces were. That's how that ends. So there you have it. There's a couple of pieces. Now I've got a lot more like that. And I used them a lot more in college when I was doing my juries and things like that. So in church atmosphere, you can get away with some of this, but you don't want to go too far in church atmosphere because a lot of people may not understand it. And plus the fact that you want to try to stick to more ecumenical music, liturgical music. Not to say that none of these would work. Actually all the ones I played would work, and I have played them in church. So there you go. That's episode 9, Local Church Organist. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep making music.